You weren't born to count coins. You were born to radiate light. Hey guys, it's John sitting here in my studio with my fabulous mug of water, enjoying a wonderful day. We are about to go into an amazing late spring summer season, and it is today going to be in the mid 60s, but tomorrow we're going up to almost 80. So it's going to be a beautiful day here, and it is a beautiful day. The sun is shining. It's just stunning outside. You know, I've never seen a U-Haul following a hearse. That means we can't take it with us, right? Yeah, Jeshua didn't condemn wealth. He did warn about being owned by it. He says the love of money is the root of many evils. He spoke of how the truest riches have nothing to do with your portfolio, but everything to do with your being and who you are. In the book of Mark, Jeshua talked to a wealthy man. He said, you must give up everything and follow me. But it wasn't about giving it all away. It was about letting go of the identity tied to wealth. Come follow me was the invitation to freedom. In other words, come live a life of joy and realize the ease and comfort of not constantly being in the mind of making more. Because the reality of it is, when you do what you love, the money comes anyway. There's this concept in the Bible of serving two masters. You are what you own. No, you're not what you own. You are who you are. I am. What I'm being is it. A lot of people identify themselves by, I own this and I own that. I have 5 houses and a Bentley and all these things. But in reality, the happiest people I've ever met in my life had nothing compared to them, because those people were so worried about the collection of material objects as opposed to just simply being loving. Jeshua said, you're whole already. You choose what controls you by what you prioritize daily. If you choose to be prioritizing wealth, then you're going to be constantly struggling into that experience. You can be wealthy. That's not a problem, but it can't be the only thing that you're focused on. It can't be the master to which you bend the knee. Peace, contentment, love, these can't be bought. They also can't crash, rot, or depreciate. The spiritually rich are generous. They're peaceful. They're grounded. And the true abundance of their life is measured in moments, not money. Putting those beautiful moments. There's that famous story of the very wealthy man had an NDE, near-death experience. And during his life review, God showed him the most important moment of his life. And the most important moment was being a little boy in the back of a car. And he looked out the window and he saw a weed that was drying in the sun. And he took his water bottle and went out there and poured water on the weed. And in his life review, that was the most important thing he did, because that was the most loving thing he did in his life. It wasn't the money. It wasn't the chauffeur. It wasn't the butler. It wasn't the mansion. It was the pouring a little bit of water. It was the physical action of love. That was the most important thing in his life. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com. The social culture sells this concept of you're saved by your material possessions, what you have. The more you have, the more you're saved. You'll be happy when you have a house, when you have a car, when you have a job. In the Bible, Jeshua says, do not store up treasures on earth. Right now, it's really interesting. Right now in my life, I'm purging everything away. I'm stripping out my house. The past 4 days, I literally have been in my garage, and I just took 4 big, giant boxes of stuff, tools especially, to the Habitat for Humanity and gave them to them. I never felt better in my life than when I gave those tools, because that was this idea of I'm sharing with the ones that need, the people who need a hand up. I have this excess that's sitting in my life. The more I strip away, the easier my world becomes. Chasing stuff leads to suffering. Living in love leads to joy. This concept of giving as a spiritual practice. Giving isn't just charity. It's the trust that the source is providing. That you believe that when I give, I receive. The open hand is always richer than the clenched fist. You remember in the Bible that all the people were giving donations, and this one woman came up and gave a penny. And the disciples were all like, well, she only gave a penny. And he says, she gave more than everybody else. She gave all she had. And, that is a huge statement. That loving conclusion that you have this wealth within that doesn't have to be expressed without. You don't have to show your wealth and live in the giant mansion. I would much rather live in a little trailer in the woods and be happy than live in a mansion and be miserable and alone. So really it comes down to understanding that your life is an expression of who you are, and your wealth is an expression of who you are. Do you want to feel rich? Count your peace. Count your moments of ease and love, not your pennies. List 5 things you're grateful for today that have nothing to do with money. And if you do that alone, you'll start to realize that you're more wealthy than you've ever thought. Right here, right now, use your spiritual wealth to inspire someone who's still chasing material possessions. Show them how to be loving in the here and now. And when you do that, you have literally changed the world, because that person has been given an off-ramp where they can come back to the feeling that they're striving for, and they're hoping that these possessions will give them. It's okay to have possessions. I'm not saying it's not okay to have possessions, but I'm saying it cannot be the primary focus for your life. Love has to be the primary focus. First commandment is love your God with all your heart and soul. God is love. Be the love. Express the love. That is all of your heart and soul. Be that feeling of love. And then understand that is the greatest wealth you'll ever have. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.